This year, China's annual government work report emphasizes the importance of creating a world-class business environment that's market-oriented and internationalized. The 2024 two sessions also saw a focus on improving the business environment for foreign investment.
We've seen Chinese government is driving for industrial upgrading and stricter policies and standards in areas like food safety and quality.
China has a strong commitment to consistently improving its business environment, with its massive market emphasizing innovation and talent cultivation.
I'm always encouraged by how it reinvents itself quickly, how it keeps the pace of change, how it keeps the innovation cycle, how it inspires young people.
Join us this week as we speak to American food giant Tyson Foods and Swedish auto manufacturer Volvo to get their perspectives on China's business environment. Only on Biz Talk, only on CGTN. With the rapid growth of China's new energy industry and its commitment to achieving its dual carbon goal of peaking carbon emissions by 2030 and carbon neutrality by 2060, China's new energy vehicle market experienced significant growth in 2023. According to data released by the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers, the market share of new energy vehicles in the country reached 31.6%. As China's NEV market booms, what opportunities does this provide for multinational automakers? And how does China's business environment provide the foundation for MNCs to capture new growth trends in one of the world's largest consumer markets? CGTN's Lily Liu sat down with Jim Rowan, President and Chief Executive of Volvo Cars, for more.
What do the financial results from 2023 tell you about Volvo's future development plan in the new year?
Yeah, great question. I mean, we were extremely pleased with the results of 2023. We had record number of units sold, we had record revenues, and we had record profits. So the number of units sold was up by 15%, our revenues were up by 21%, and our profits were up by 43%. So I was very pleased with the 2023 year, but even more so because it helped us lay foundations for 2024 and beyond. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, signifies the strength of Volvo Cars globally, that our brand is strong, that our customers like the products that we're creating and designing, and also that we have good sales teams and commercial teams around the world to help deliver those results. So we're very happy, but we have a lot of work still ahead. It is, I mean, the continued investment globally, so we're making some large-scale investments for the new generation and the new technologies, and we're making a lot of those investments here in China. So this is the fourth phase of the expansion in Jiading, and that signifies again another milestone for us in terms of future development of technology investments. One of the things we really enjoy about being in China is that we have access to really good talent. Mm-hmm. And that helps us very quickly deliver the technologies of the future and then get that into the products, which brings benefits to our customers. So yeah, it's a great symbol for us.
So speaking of the future of automobiles, so we know that Volvo, you have your own 2030 strategy that you aim to become a fully electric car company by that time. How does China fit in that picture?
Yeah, and China right now is going through a massive transformation. As anyone who has been here recently, they see how many new startups there are, especially in the EV space. But one of the strengths that we have as Volvo is that we've been around for almost 100 years. We've been building cars for almost 100 years. We're a profitable company, and we can fund our growth through our profits. So we don't need to go and borrow money from the banks. The second thing, which I think is really important for us, is that we have lots of technologies. We have mild hybrid technology, we have internal combustion technology, and of course we have plug-in electric hybrid technology, and of course full EV. And why I think that's important is because we can use all of those different technologies to help us to bridge towards a full electric future. But that's going to take some time. It won't happen overnight. And I think being in the position that we're in, where we have access to those different technologies and a really strong brand in both internal combustion and in plug-in electric hybrid, and of course most recently on EV, is really going to help us to bridge to that new future. Mm-hmm. There's no question for me that electrical propulsion is a better technology, but it will take some time to move in that direction. We need to make sure we build out the charge infrastructure, and we need to also, you know, convince our customers that it's time to move to full electrification. So I think we're in really good shape as a company.
Yeah, that actually leads to my next question, because your 2030 strategy is really built on this scenario, expectations of, let's say, legislation, and then accessible, you know, quality charging infrastructure. Really, where are we now in this process of transformation?
Well, we're making good headway, and here in China we see that development happening very fast, and globally we see it accelerating in different parts of the world. Northern Europe, for example, is accelerating very quickly with charge infrastructure and the acceleration towards electrification. Southern Europe's taking a little bit longer. If we look at the United States, on the coastal area of the West Coast, it's accelerating very quickly to electrification. In the interior of the US, it's taking a bit longer. And that's why having mixed technology, having access to both plug-in electric, hybrid, internal combustion, and full EV is really important as we go through that transition.
And speaking of technology, because when I read your resume, you have been taking important positions in many tech firms before you joined the automobile industry. So do you think that technology can solve almost all the formidable challenges that are confronting automakers today?
I do think it positions me as a CEO of an automotive company that really understands technology because of my background, and not just automotive. Because the automotive industry is changing very, very quickly. And it's not just about electrification. We tend to talk about electrification, but the bigger, deeper, and much more complex change is the move towards core compute technology, high computational silicon, data, and connectivity. Those are the 4 areas which are very well used in technology and high-tech companies that are now migrating very quickly into automotive. So yes, we have good electrical propulsion, we understand battery technology, we understand e-motors, we understand inverters, but we also understand high computational silicon, software, connectivity, and data. And those are the 4 key elements which I think will decide who will be successful in the future for next generation automotive.
And what role does your operations here in China play in that blueprint?
Yeah, they play an extremely important role, because I think when you have access to talent globally and you can harness that talent, you can get the teams working together to solve problems together, then you get a synergy effect. And that's what we've found. The more that we've invested here in China, and the more that we've coupled that talent and those investments with other parts of the Volvo network, let's say, then the two of them work together very, very powerfully to speed up innovation, to speed up creativity, to speed up the production and the development of our cars.
And also, some industry insiders will call China as the trendsetter in the electric vehicle market. What would you have to say to that, and what kind of opportunity do you think that brings to a multinational car company like Volvo?
Yeah, I think when you look at the different parts of the world, certainly China moves at a speed faster than most other countries. The development, the innovation pace is faster, and you can learn from that, and you can harness that innovation and really help to push the business forward. Electrification is very, very quick. EV has been very quick in China. But then we can couple with that some of the other learnings that we have from other parts of the world. Of course, Volvo's been around for 100 years. We really understand how to build really well-designed, well-built, very, very safe cars. And you take that together, so you take the EV and the pace and the energy and the innovation of China, and you couple that with the experience and the heritage of Volvo Cars, you get a very powerful combination.
So China now is, let's say, taking a leading role ahead of some of the traditional auto juggernauts like Germany and Japan, especially in terms of the electric vehicle market. What do you think is behind this booming EV market?
Well, ultimately, I'm an engineer, so I think you need to peel it back and say, why electrical propulsion? That's the starting point. And if we look at electrical propulsion versus internal combustion, the technology is a better technology. There's less noise, there's less vibration, there's less heat loss, and of course, there's less servicing costs for the customers. There's less moving parts within an electrical engine than there is to an internal combustion engine, and there's 0 emissions. So when you look at an internal combustion engine, even a very, very well designed and well tuned electrical internal combustion engine, the energy efficiency is about 35%. When you look at a really well-designed electrical propulsion system, it's about 92%. That's a huge difference. And so for the energy that you put into the movement that you get, electrical propulsion is superior. Plus, of course, you don't have the noise, you don't have the vibration, you have less servicing costs, and you don't have any tailpipe emissions, which of course is good for the environment. And that's why it will be the technology of the future. It will take us some time to get there, but it will be the technology of the future. In the same way, 100 years ago, steam was the propulsion technology, and then it went to internal combustion, and now we're moving from internal combustion to electrification. And no doubt, 20 years' time, we'll probably move to something else, but for the time being, electrical propulsion, I think, is the reason why that's become so important, not just in China, but globally.
Okay, that's also something that customers around the world are looking for in EV cars as well. And finally, as a company that's deeply rooted in China, how would you comment on China's continued efforts to try to improve its business environment for foreign investors?
Yeah, I'm very encouraged by China. Every time I've visited China, well over 30 times. I forget how many times, but certainly well over 30 times. I've visited many cities in China as well. And every time I come back, even from the early days when I first started coming to China to today, I'm always encouraged by how it reinvents itself quickly, how it keeps the pace of change, how it keeps the innovation cycle, how it inspires young people, especially to take up subjects like engineering and computer science and so on. So I'm very optimistic that China will continue to develop at a fast pace and will continue to be very successful.
Yeah, that is also based on the figures that actually in 2023, that was a good year for Volvo. As you said, It was also a good year for China's auto market because we saw record numbers in cars being produced and sold in this country. So what would be your expectation for China's auto market in the new year?
Well, I think it will continue to grow. I think we have the demand for cars. I think especially we're seeing a lot more young people buying cars. The affordability of cars are coming down now as well. And you're also coming into the second cycle, I think, within China, where people who first owned the car are now ready to refresh and upgrade and buy a new car, or indeed buy a second car. As the country becomes more affluent and there's more disposable income, you'll start to see dual car ownership. You'll start to see people buying cars for their children. All of that phase, I think, is still to come. So I'm optimistic that we'll still see good sales growth in China in the coming years.
China's economic agenda was on full display during its annual political season, the 2 sessions. Proposals to promote a healthier diet, building resilient food supply chains, and creating stronger agriculture companies were all on the economic agenda. Ensuring the food security of over 1.4 billion people is no easy task, and Chinese tastes are rapidly evolving as consumers seek out higher quality foods domestically and from around the world. Coming up next, CGTN's Zhu Zhu speaks with Joan Zheng, Vice President of Tyson Foods China and South Korea, for more on how the company thinks about its supply chains and maintaining competitiveness in the China market.
You're watching breaking news on CGTN.
You're watching CGTN with the latest market-moving headlines from around the world.
Welcome to the world today on CGTN.
Here on Biz Talk, we connect the dots, shedding light on the real stories behind the economic landscape. To better understand China's dynamism and the economies and rhythms of business, propelling new drivers of growth.
China.
Biz Talk, your window into China and the global economy. Only on Biz Talk.
Thank you so much for doing the interview. We know that Tyson has been doing business in China for over 2 decades now. So what makes the Chinese market so special for Tyson to have grown so much here?
Firstly, the vast China consumption market and the high consumption potentiality on protein. And secondly, the growing mindset of Chinese consumers on eating well and eating healthy, on which the representing consumption behaviors are that consumers are eating more protein and more fine quality food, on which when the consumers are looking for high quality food, and the easiest way for them is to based on the brand that can help them to find products that they can trust.
Supply chain security is becoming more and more crucial. So what efforts have Tyson made to upgrade and stabilize its supply chain?
Emphasizing a supply chain security globally is always one of Tyson's strategy. Tyson globally has built a robust supply and demand foundation across multiple protein, including beef, pork, and chicken. So on our supply and demand map, we can see that we have countries that are both supply and demand markets where the consumers are served in country and import. For example, these countries include China, Southeast Asia, Europe. Then some countries are supply market. For example, US, Canada, Australia, some countries from South America like Argentina, Brazil. And some countries are demand market like Japan, Korea, Middle East. So with this setup, we have a secure premium meat source across all the way from breeding to slaughtering and to further processing. Yeah, so this is about global supply and demand map. Then for China, based on our national layout strategy and also in conjunction with the commercial strategy, we've built 2 fully integrated supply chain from breeder broiler, female, to slaughtering and further processing. So these 2 fully integrated supply chain, one in Rizhao, Shandong province, and the other one is in Nantong, Jiangsu province. So as well as these 2 fully integrated supply chain, we also have some other several further processing plants in Shandong province and in Xiaogan, Hubei, that can serve the consumers nationwide.
And we know that there are also many Chinese local companies popping up in the market. How can Tyson, international giant, stay competitive in such a market?
I guess I can summarize in short of these 4 areas. One is that, as I mentioned, we always keep high standard of food quality and safety, right? And secondly, Tyson brand is a remarkable value. We are amongst the top food brands. For example, in 2022, we were ranked number 5 in terms of world's most valuable food brands. Yeah. And thirdly, our global supply chain, as I shared just now. And finally, we've built very strong partnership with all the major players in our major sales channels, from retail channel to food service, etc., etc.
And how do you see the appeal of the Chinese market to other foreign investors, to foreign investors in general? Is it attractive enough?
I think so. It's still very attractive, but of course, really depends on each company how to view that. But from Tyson perspective, we still see this a very important market for us. If one tell the reasons, I think one is that, again, the consumption power of the China market, right? And secondly, we've seen Chinese government is driving for industrial upgrading and stricter policies and standard in areas like food safety and quality. These actually are good news for foreign companies, because in the past, companies like us actually were facing disadvantages in terms of cost comparing to local competitors. So this is a really good news for us. And thirdly, in the past decades, China has developed a closed-loop supply chain system that can, produce all the necessary products from parts to finished goods. That really, together with the vast consumption market, really not something that a small market can replace, right? From Chinese central government to local government, we've seen more and more efforts in fostering a better environment for foreign investors to run business in China. And we can make some examples everywhere. You can see that the government are issuing the incentive policies, for investment, for running business, right? We also witnessed and experienced that government officials are proactively go to understanding the enterprises and their businesses, providing support. There are actually some good examples that I personally experienced. For example, one story in our Rizhao plant, when we were constructing the new plant, one of the new employees from my team saw a lady who was always in the plant, busy with something, talking to people, doing a lot of things. Then she thought this lady was one of the employees. Then one day, she suddenly realized she is the deputy secretary of the industrial zone.
And to further attract more foreign investors to invest in the Chinese market, what are your suggestions? What still needs to be done?
As the enterprise, we are running business here, day to day, we are facing, a lot of challenges. And in the areas that are related to like government regulations, government policy, etc., I would love to see improvements that will help a lot. Majorly they are falling into the following 4 areas. One is that since we have a nationwide operation, so the regulations, interpretation of regulations, the policies, etc., are still, there are quite a lot are still very inconsistent across geographic. This brings a lot of challenges for us. And then secondly, we still see inconsistent enforcement of policies between foreign companies and local companies. And this actually bring the cost disadvantage for foreign companies. Finally, I think it would be, much helpful if Chinese government as a whole manage to deliver the message to people outside China, because for companies like Tyson, people sitting in headquarters, if they can receive message, such a kind of a consistent message, not only from local team but from all the other sources that they can trust, that will be help a lot. Only on local team is not enough. Yeah.
And what are your expectations for the company's business in China this year?
Good question. Since last year, actually we've seen a trend of the consumer becoming more conservative in terms of consumption, right? Mm-hmm. And we are also facing challenges because of this trend. Our top line sales revenue are impacted. However, we are doing well in terms of operating income. We are far beyond YTD operating income, far beyond the target that our headquarters set for us. So bottom line is very good. So we are positive that this downtime will end anyway. And the team here is driving hard to, to have for a better future